Continuing our routine from last episode, let's read some notes. So, Roman, tier 1 turret you can take down. You can start playing with Fog of War and can relieve pressure. My wording is not the best there. 1v1, this is decided by champion wave clear or skill difference, pressure in the lane. Over roaming can make you lose a lane. This could give your opponent a free back when they do not have a wave pushed in. Even if you ping teammates, they can still ignore and die, which is why you always want to be playing the lane and trade to make roams less effective. Ping your lane about them. Ping your lane about them. Coin flip plays. If the roam is coin flip, you can take plates, waves, and ward instead, then look to clean up afterwards. If you roam after your opponent crashes then die, you'll be losing due to massive slow push that kills enemy minions. If it is too high risk, simply push for plays. Against roam champs, I may have to roam from based on the crash to catch up. That's a bit of a weird wording. If your opponent pressures a place you cannot travel and you crash, simply pressure the other lane. Make sure that you do not make it obvious. Playing as a weak early mage, it is always best to cut your losses when helping teammates with early melee characters. Winning your lane can make a big difference. You can roam to help your teammates that are getting ganked if they are ahead. Crash into turret. Yeah, if they are ahead and crashed into turret. It's gonna right and crash into turret. Mid game roams when you lose tier 1 turret can lose a lot of CS. Opponent roam can be seen on the map, which means you instantly look to crash. Otherwise, you should slow push. Roaming to other lanes, which can be as simple as a health disadvantage. Roaming to losing lanes, which can be as simple as a health disadvantage. You want to do this, so wave managed, you want to do this when crashing wave into turret. This allows you to miss fewer last hits. Crashing cannon wave can allow you to dive another lane under turret with minimal loss. A decent snowball after killing your opponent with support or jungle. Freezing when you should not. You should not do this on an opponent's roam. It could be beneficial to you with the opponent being forced to be far away from a turret, allowing an easier all-in. But if your ally is overextended, then the opponent is more likely to commit to the roam, meaning you should go for wave, crash, and plays. Do not give your opponent a free freeze, even after getting a kill, if you have 0 mana with a wave stacked against you. Try to trim it down for a slow push, not losing too much for when you recall or ping your junglers to help push. This can be painful if you spent resources like flash to get the kill. That's the last section. Jungler, do not call them over if they have ult, summoners, or gold advantage. Unless you have CC, you will be 1v2 by assassins. Even higher risk probability when enemy jungle count again. Ping ult cooldown and flash, ping your freezers. If even or ahead, you should look to help your jungler in a skirmish. If a wave is in a horrible state like a slow push, do not roam. Even if you do not kill your opponent, having a massive HP difference will allow you to freely roam to help your jungler. Vision. If you do not have vision, you cannot follow a roam. Especially, sorry, what was I? If you do not have vision, you cannot follow a roam, especially if it's an assassin. Instead, play for turret plays. Post visions 20 seconds before a crab comes up. Warn slightly outside a river bush, Ward the middle of the lane against roam heavy champs after they clear. Place aggressive ones when you're ahead and passive ones when you're behind. Take note of Crab if it decides you get being seen. Enemy vision points should be cleared for your own teammate's vision. If there is no big option available, you can just deep ward. Skirmish. Beware of roaming to strong lanes, especially Fed and Chanter bot lane. And I think for now that is my roaming tips. So, summoners and runes and items. Teleport. With a superior reset, you can look to freeze against an opponent with no turbo or no gold to gain an advantage. Stopping backs will allow you to have infinite prio to place deep wards and help junglers / lanes. With no teleport, you should look to side lane near objectives like Baron. When your jungler kills your opponent, the opponent will not be available to be pressured by your teleport. Allows you to greatly extend your skirmishes with little punishment. After a successful crash, you want to teleport back to lane with a bounce off turret. And an opponent that is forced to stay due to another crash, harass your opponent into a freeze. First 5 minutes teleport is good if you have not based on a cannon wave. You can catch the wave and start a freeze, forcing opponent to burn TP as well. Practice always want to use from base for tempo reasons. Yeah, practically you always want to use it from base for tempo reasons. Can be used to match with objectives. Runes. You need to trade when BP is down to get full value from, I guess, your electrocute proc. Items. Blasting one heavily delays lost chapter power spike. And that is that. So last one, we have team fighting. So team fighting. Your death should not be getting ganked by players you don't know where they are due to a lack of awareness. If you have a win con, you don't need to force kills on enemy carry. You do not want to cut yourself away from team when you are behind, especially no flash. When weak teammates are in bad situations like 1 vs 2, just cut your losses and play for macro / CS. When strong, you can look to force fights against overstaying siege opponents. They will most likely be low health, most ideal because your entire team will be there. Fair team fights are always a coin flip. Plays like a number advantage is a consistent way of carrying. Stopwatch can give a burst opportunity when popped by another teammate. If an ally misplays that role, there is nothing to learn from it. Vision advantage in the jungle. Bad game plan to have early skirmishes against manaless mid laners when yours has mana. If your teammates force a Baron fight, then regardless of fairness you will have to help them. Take note of every coin flip fight that you could have avoided instead of for something else. Before a fight even begins, you should look on the map to get intel on allies and opponent positioning. If your 1 or 2 allies are in another quadrant, you could look to pressure. After winning teamfight leading to massive noise advantage of 2 dead, you could look to pressure. Staying in bush can work as your team will be retreating. Even when ahead, you should heavily consider positioning. Possible peel the Fed ally ADC. Objectives. Taking the fight over trying to steal first straight will net more reward. 2 vs 2. ADCs with you will lose to Bruiser if even Mage and even ADC with you will lose to Bruiser. Engage. important to factor in what character could zone you off in a team fight. And that's basically the notes for today. For the first highlight, I wanted to show I'm learning a bit of Aurelion Sol, so I want to check out his team fighting. So W every time you get a kill does resets, but look at this the max range. W reset, get the kill. W reset, flashes the Yone ult. It's going to get another W reset, flies towards the Elise, gets slowed down by Rylai's. But you can just see the potential. And we haven't even seen like ER possibilities, which can just solo win a fight or heavily destroy him and choke. So here just shows what you can do during your W. The Q slows you down, but everything else doesn't. You can cast your E, you can cast your ult. So you'll see Amumu about to gank here. Ults first. E. It's a lot of damage. Another showing at a team fight. Don't have to be too complicated. So W's in to get close. Resets. W's in again, but with ultimate. And if they want to stay, if they want to really contest you while you press ult, they just die basically. So it's not really a fear factor. Yeah. So here's what you can immediately do when jungle burns flash. It's simple and stable, but should be known. So Veigar flashes due to J4. When he does it, he immediately jumps on him, throws W, focuses purely on walking forward, and then he gets the kill. Some good stuff. So here shows the Orianna matchup. You know, no CCL again. When she gets ult, it's a bit rough, but this is the kind of stuff you can just blatantly do. An absolutely ridiculous trade that 100% guarantees that you get CS. Just a quick note. I don't want to play like a Aurelion Sol Talon, these like Yasuo Yone matchups. I want to use Annie, man, because the moment Yone decides to go in, you stun him for big damage, you walk away. And it's just very nice and simple. Let me just see if I can't. What was the second kill? I mean, yeah, probably this guy. Because like Aurelion Sol just is like harder to skirmish with and stuff, but just a small note to improve my gameplay. If I see those brothers, I want to pick Annie. I feel like this clip perfectly summarizes how you want your ASOL matchups to go. Like the kind of interactions. So let's have a look. So Jay sees ASOL use his abilities on the wave, his E and his Q. Logically thinks there's a trade opportunity. ASOL stays in and then keeps going. So it just shows you like the kind of matchups where like someone uses their CC combo on you. Could be like a Syndra E or something, and then you just go all in. Usually you think, oh, I just take the damage, I just gotta bounce off, but no. Q first, WQ, it's a kill. And this is the kind of matchups I want to see where I can do a Q, then do a WQ after they all in me melee. Alright, let's wrap it up with some deaths. to look at. I mean, here, he's bleeding in the ult. I should be able to just walk away. You know, I think my issue was here. When you're playing Talon, you can actually quickly E over the wall to safety and still be able to kill him. But as you can see, I just have to spend more resources than necessary. And let's look at this one. These are more like trolly kind of deaths. So here, I one-shot him. And then Twitch kills me. Which, apparently, training 1v1 in the late game is really bad. But my team's getting Baron. But actually, if you actually think about that, I could have had Baron. And instead, I traded 1-for-1 in the late game. Like, that's bad. You never want to do that. Most of the damn time, you never want to trade 1-for-1. And here's just like a terrible attempt. Like, you can just see my trolling. I keep trying to Q him, even though, like, 100% I'm not in the correct range. And, yeah, taking turret shots, not the greatest. Let me just fix up here. I'm learning a lot of Soul. So, here is just literally, like, using ult, like, unless someone's at half HP, this combo is practically worthless. Like, you'll never be able to kill people with this. Like, it just, the damage is too slow. Let me just ban my dude. Oh, last pick song, I like that. And what do we have next? Here I just don't have the burst. These Zhonya's. And then what's my next troll death? Oh, not really. Zed just pops me. Alright, let's have a look at the next one. So we got Annie. Here is like in the Orianna matchup, don't stand next to walls. I'm just standing next to walls, playing against this woman. And it results to me just getting comboed. And here, I think I should have ignited to pop his spell shield. Legit, imagine him getting Q damage instead of the ignite. Would have done way more. And then here, I just use Zhonya's way too slow. I pop Zhonya's here, I live. I think I like Soul, seems safe. Can we wrap this up? And here's using Aurelion Soul W into Bush without checking it with Q first. And I just get one-sidedly destroyed like Udyr. And then here, the W is just going too far. It's overextension. There's no need. I can literally like be around here and produce the same amount of impact. But and also perhaps I could have just run away. So versus Katarina. And then here's like not using flight, moving, but not using flight quick enough. And here once again overextension. But you get the idea. I think that's the video.